Hey Roz, hey everybody else. How's it going this morning? Happy Sunday. Let's learn some Latin. Woo! I'm stoked. Alright, let me get this. Yeah, going pretty well here. Been a fairly relaxing weekend, so good. Not too much I have to do left. Really just have to clean the stove. It's really the only thing left. So anyway, and Punch has a birthday coming up soon. So we're doing celebratory sorts of things. He doesn't like me to say that. Anyway. Uh, yay! Thanks for the bit for his birthday. I'll be sure to give him a penny from you. uh, so, but in Latin, last time we started on pronouns, so words that take the place of another noun. Really important common ones are the personal pronouns: I, he, she, it, you, we, they, etc., etc. Let me just get my notification. Action 48. Let time. We've also discussed relative pronouns, which are pronouns that set up relative clauses. I actually don't know why they're called relative, but the point being, they contain more information about another noun. They are a adjectival clause is the technical word. Is a clause that gives more information about a noun. So the tea, which is hot, is not ready to drink. So I'm holding it here, eagerly awaiting. But there's a bunch of other types of pronouns too. So here with lesson 50, we're like 2/3 of the way done. We'll cover the next, I think 3 we'll do today, on different types of pronouns. Tea, fire, indeed. But I really want to drink it. So one type of pronoun is the intensive. And actually last week we did go through the whole list of like 9 types of pronouns. So definitely discuss or look through back at that list. But first, the intensive pronoun ipse, and then our demonstrative idem. So these are both interesting words. So the intensive pronoun ipse, translated even, very, and sometimes with a reflexive sounding word, himself, herself, not when it's used as a pronoun, but when it's almost used as an adjective. That is the intensive pronoun. We could think of it as putting a word in bold or underline or all caps or something. It is a flavor word, is not necessary for meaning per se. It's needed for emphasis, for flavor, for clarification. So it is used to emphasize a noun or pronoun, expressed or understood, with which it agrees like an adjective. All right, so homo se videt. That means the man sees himself, like in the mirror, whatever. So that is the reflexive pronoun. The reason that we're bringing this up is because ipse, the emphatic pronoun, can be translated like that. So homo ipse periculum videt, the man himself sees the danger. Or homo ipsum periculum videt, the man sees the mirror, or the danger itself, periculum. So the ipse in the first sentence is modifying homo, the ipsum in the third sentence modifying periculum, both just emphasizing, intensifying the noun that is modifying. The man himself, the danger itself, put it in bold, put it in all caps. That is the sense of ipse. Except for the nominative singular form ipse is declined like the 9 irregular adjectives we learned in 109. So ipse, ipsa, ipsum, and then it has the ius genitive and the I dative, and then it goes back to essentially a normal first-second declension. The man sees the man himself as the danger. No, that would be right too. So it would be the man hominem ipsum videt periculum. All right. Oh, let me just rearrange the word order a little. So that would be that sentence that you just said. Homo ipsum hominem periculum videt. The man, homo, sees, videt, and then we'll take the first accusative as the primary object, the man himself, as the danger periculum. Although I guess the question is, Roz, in that sentence that you laid out, is the man who sees the man as the danger, are they two different men or are they the same guy? I guess in that case, it also might be more useful to use we're instead of, because the homo is more of just the human being, whereas the we're is a man. That makes sense? But point being, yeah, if you just want to emphasize, you would use the ipse ipsa ipsum, absolutely. The second is the generic the man. For instance, I acknowledge that in any security context, the person is the greatest vulnerability. Yep. Yep. So that would be right. That then, and you may want to change the main subject then, if you're talking about a particular person being able to identify that a human being is the greatest danger. But if you want it to be human beings recognize that human beings are the greatest danger, then that would work. The demonstrative idem has a completely different sense. Idem means the same. And it is a compound of is. So is, ea, id is he, she, it. And so here in the forms of idem, you can see the forms of is, ea, id plus dem. So sometimes when they combine, there's some phonetic changes, like idem instead of isdem. But eosdem, aidem, eundem, so before the D, the M becomes an N. Eodem, eidem, eorndem, eistem, eostem, eistem. And again, this means the same. So the same man knows Greek and Latin. Idem Graecum Latinum quae sceat. So anytime you need to say the same, that's what this word is for. That dem is important for that. So sometimes the forms here in the plural, the edem, eistem, edem, they are often spelled and pronounced with one long I, so just eistem, edem, and that's just a phonetic difference that happens over the years. All right. So ipse, ipsa, ipsum, the very. We know that ipso facto. That's a phrase we know in English. Ipso facto, by the deed itself. Presto changeo. That one's not actually Latin. And then idem, eadem, idem. The personal pronoun, ishiet, isea plus dem equals the same. So, I'm used to idem as a word meaning, as a word stem, idempotent. Huh. Interesting. Does idempotent just mean like the same power? Equally powerful? I actually don't know that word, but I like it. All right. So now let's start the story on how Horatius held the bridge. Horatius, you might hear his name said. Idempotent means that doing the same thing twice has the same effect as doing it once. Huh. Interesting. You empty a glass, then empty the glass again. The glass is just as empty. I mean, that's true. Also, somewhere around the neighborhood, someone is playing music like stupidly loud, and I don't know where. Both Punch and I are hearing it, and we're like, what is going on? Because generally, it's pretty quiet. So, anyway. Hopefully, it's just rolling through and we'll stop soon. Alright. Tarquinius Superbus, septimus et ultimus rex Romanorum, ubi in exilium aberitis Romanis iectus est, a Porcena, rege Etruscorum, auxilium petiit. Mux Porcena magnis cum copiis Romam venet, et ipsa urbs sumo in periculo erat. What did it say? Oh, that could be it. Because it kind of weirdly sounds like it's coming from the basement. And I'm like, well, I know that's not true. Or if it is, we've got a major problem. Yeah, I know. I was next to some joker at the light the other day who, the blaring and the bass. It's very unpleasant. So, yeah, we'll blame the train. Okay. So what about Porcena? What's happening? Omnibus in partibus exercitus Romanus victus erat. Jam rex montem ianiculum occupaverat, numquam antea Romani tanto metu tenebantur. Ex agris in urbem properabant, et sumo studio urbem ipsam muniebant. Now, see, if it were an orchestra playing background music, that would be very exciting. I would like that. Okay, so what happens? I like the footnote for number 4. The story of Horatius has been made familiar by Macaulay's well-known poem, I'm just going to go back and forth between how I say his name. I'll try and stick to Latin. Horatius, in his Lays of Ancient Rome. Read the poem in connection with the selection. Yes, that well-known poem. I'm sure we've all read Macaulay's Horatius. Back of my hand. All right. Tarquinius Superbus, or Tarquin the Arrogant, the 7th and final king of the Romans, hence why he was called Superbus. The Romans didn't like him very much. When ubi he was tossed out, iectus est, into exile by the angry Romans. Again, not liked very much. So Tarquin the Arrogant sought petiit, Help, auxilium, from Porsena, the king of the Etruscans. Maybe it should be. Horatius is pretty great. Tarquin is pretty bad. All right. Soon, Mox Porsena came to Rome. So again, Rome, I'm here in the accusative for the accusative of place to which. But since it is the name of a city, town, or small island, it does not take a preposition. So and let me actually check. Venio venere, veni ventum. Okay, that's not going to help me because they look the same. He came to Rome with a lot of troops, magnis copiis, great troops. And the city itself, ipsa urbs, so again, that intensive, Rome itself, was in the greatest danger, sumo periculo. So sumo means highest. So it gets used a lot in very dire expressions. So in the greatest danger. All right. What happened then when he was coming towards Rome? The Roman army, exercitus Romanus, had been conquered, victus erat, on every side, omnibus in partes, in every quarter. I mean, it's technically plural in Latin, but I think in English it is expressed better with a singular. So. Oh no, the Roman army lost. It doesn't happen very much, so what are they going to do? Now, Yam, the king, occupied, occupaverat, had occupied. We're using pluperfect because we're kind of setting the stage. So Tarquin was seeking Porsena's help. Now, after all these things had happened, this is the state that we're in. Is how they're choosing to tense this story. All right. Soon, the king had occupied the Janiculum Mount, so one of the hills of Rome, the Janiculum. It is a high hill across the Tiber from Rome, so just south of the Vatican. All right. Never before were the Romans being held, Romani tenebantur, this imperfect passive, by such great fear, tantum metu. Oh no. They were hastening, rushing from the fields into the city, and they were fortifying the city itself, so again, intensifying there, with the greatest zeal, sumo studio. So the city of Rome is like itty bitty, and it has itty bitty walls around it. And so they're all hastening inside to build those little border walls, which doesn't cover very much of Rome, but you know, enough to protect the heart of Rome, as it were. What's going to happen? We'll find out in this next chapter. Another type of pronoun is the demonstrative, pointing at things. So there are 3 levels of demonstrative in Latin. Now, he starts to note, we have already learned the declension of the demonstrative pronoun is and its use. So the Latin is ea id, he, she, it, is also a weak demonstrative. You can use it to mean this or that, or really anything you want to make it when it's serving as an adjective. Just use your judgment. That pronoun refers to persons or things, either far or near, and makes no definite reference to place or time. Right, just kind of floaty. If we wish to point out an object definitely in place or time, we must use hic, iste, or ille. These demonstratives are both pronouns and adjectives. So either you can use it by itself to mean this man, or you can use it with the word Erps city and mean this city. The relation to the speaker is graphically thus. Hic, iste, and ille. This, he, near, iste, that, over there, and ille, that, more remote. Hic and ille are the most common, and they actually get used in pairs a lot. To refer to, this and that is generally hic and ille. Iste can have some negative connotations to it. You can make it mean anything you like, but if you expect it to carry too much meaning, you have to pay it double. Kinda, yeah. Like, it doesn't mean much, so you can say whatever you want. Just don't take it too far. And so iste can have a negative connotation. So when you say that man, that villain, iste, not very pleasant. Sometimes. Usually. That's how I learned it, and it's gotten me this far. Hey you, but like in a derogatory fashion. Alright. In the dialogue, hic refers to a person or thing near the speaker, iste near the person addressed, the second person, and ille removed from both. This is why, honestly, hic and ille are the most common, I think, because you're generally speaking about something close to you or something far away from you. These distinctives are illustrated in model sentences. So, my undergrad, when we got to learn the forms of hic, hic, hoc, we had a hic, hic, hoc off, and we had to memorize the declension and say it as quickly as you could. I can do it in about 6 seconds with practice. I'm not going to. I'm just going to read through it nice and slowly. But it's really quite a joy. And you get wonderful presents like lard. Because you have to find a goofy present to give to people when they win. Yeah. Hic, hic, hoc, huius, 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 huic, 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 honk, honk, hoc, 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 he, hi, hike, horum, harum, horum, he's, he's, hos, has, hike, he's. If you make it through the singular, the plural goes really fast. The genitive and the dative are pronounced a little funky compared to some other words. Sometimes that UI can be a separate sound. But in the dative, it's really huic, huic, huic. Just one syllable, not huic. For the genitive, I do usually say huius, but as you see there, they also encourage 2 syllables, huius, huius, huius. So, this word is interesting linguistically, but we don't have to deal with that. It means this, it's super, super, super important. The demonstratives iste, stud, and ille, lud, except for the nominative singular and accusative singular follow that same irregular first, second declension adjective, just like ipse, ipsa, ipsum. So ille, lud, ilias, 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 ili, 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 illo, illa, illud, illo. Oh, sorry. Illam, alam, alad, illo, illa, illo. So some model sentences. Esne hic equus validas? Is this horse strong? This one right here, mine, near me. Iste equus est validas? Said illa. Oh, this is not a question, this is a statement. Iste equus est validas? Said ille est infirmus. That horse, since we're in a dialogue of yours, is strong, but that one over there is weak. Sunt hi amici tui? Are these guys your friends? The ones that are closing in around me to beat me up. Isti sunt amici mei, sed illi sunt inimici. Yes, those guys by you are my friends, but those guys over there are enemies. Not too bad. Oh, look at this cool picture. Indefinite pronoun. All right. So let's read some more. I encourage everyone to read A German Chieftain Addresses His Followers. But we're going to skip back to our story about how Horatius held the bridge. Altera urbis pars muris, altera flumine satis muneri videbatur. Sed erat pons in flumine, qui hostibus iter paene dedit. Tum Horatius Cocles, fortis vir, magna voce dixit, rescindite pontum Romani, breri tempore porcena in urbem copia suas traducet. Iam hostis in pante erant, sed Horatius cum duobus comitibus ad extremum pontis partem propevavit, et he soli aciem hostium sustinuerant tum viro cives Romani, pontem a tergo rescindere incipiunt, et hostis frustra Horatium superare temptant. Okay, so what happens now? Look at this picture. Very cool. All right. So videbanter, to be seen, right? It's the passive of to see. In the passive, to see means to seem. If you are seen as something, you seem to be something. So, one part of the city seems sufficient in its walls, and another sufficient to be fortified by the water. Right? Because there's the Tiber River, so that's serving a lot of fortification right there because you can't cross it. It does make sense. But there was a bridge on the river. We're going to say on the river, not in the river, for obvious reasons. I'm checking something. Okay. So a bridge which gave qui dedit enough of a path, paine ether, for the enemy. A barely path, a nearly path, a sufficient path. Paine is where we get the word peninsula, almost an island. So iter paine, almost a journey, almost a path, enough of a path. Then, whom Horatius Cocles, a strong man, said with a great voice, "Cut the bridge, Romans!" In a brief time, brevi tempore, Porsenna will lead traduget his troops, his own troops, copia suas, into the city. Iam hostes, already the enemy were on the bridge. But Horatius, with two companions, duobus comitibus, hastened to the further end, extremum partem, the furthest part of the bridge, and these guys alone, he soli, held back the battle line of the enemy, acim hostium. Sustained, however you want to say that. Rivers make great protection. Jolly nearly an island. That is an excellent definition for the peninsula. Okay. Then, indeed, weirdo, the Roman citizens began to chop down the river from behind, and the enemy in vain tried to overcome Horatius. Good. So there's the enemy, there's Horatius fighting them, and there's the people cutting down the bridge from his back. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, that's adorable. I need to reread the Narnia books / read them, because I think I've only read like 3 or 4. So I need to read them. Anyway, so that is the demonstrative pronouns. This, that over there, and that way over there. Then there's indefinite pronouns. Somebody. If only Max were here. I'm sure he could regale us with a song that may or may not start with somebody. Let's see. They commented that it wasn't an island, it was a peninsula, jolly near an island. That is cute. Yeah, those are pretty delightful books. All right. So the indefinite pronoun is used to refer to some person or something without indicating the particular one meant, right? Quis and qui, the interrogative pronouns and the relative pronouns, may also serve as the indefinite pronouns. So really, just however you want to use it. Nearly all the other indefinite pronouns are compounds of quis or qui and decline like them. So, like, quis is whoever, quid is whatever. Pretty just entertaining. So here we get a really nice list. So quis, quid, someone, anything, qui, qui, quad, some, any, when used as an adjective, aliquis, aliquid, someone, anyone, and then aliqui, aliqui, aliquad, the adjective form of some or any. So aliquis, aliquid is the pronoun, aliqui, aliqui, aliquad is the adjective. Quidam, quidem, quodam is a certain one. Quisquam, quidquam, anyone. Quisque, quidque, each one. Quisque, quaeque, quodque, each, every as an adjective. These get very, very confusing very, very fast. Quid is also how you pay a Brit. That's true. Quid pro quo. So the cue words, as we refer to this group frequently, confuse many a Latin student. And with good reason. They are all formed from the same words, and they mean very similar things sometimes, but very different things other times. And sometimes you just have to look up. So the ali before the quid is some. The dom after the qui is a certain. The que after the quis is each. They get confusing. They really do. And there's no, like, brilliant way to think about it. You just have to kind of think of your own mental devices to remember it. 20 quid for your professional quote. You can go for 20 quid right now. How much is a quid in American money? I'm looking at Punch. She's like, what? It's been a while since I've been in England. And they generally don't refer to them as quid when you're, like, in the business. I mean, when you're a visitor. They're like, pounds, please. $1.25. Okay, so quids are like the cheap one. Okay. what was I gonna say? So, like, I had one professor that I worked with. He was in a different program, but wanting to learn slash brush up his Latin and Greek. And so for Dom, he thought of Jean-Claude Van Damme and then went to a certain van because the Quidam is a certain. And so he would just like do these like weird mental connections like that. Would be so whenever we would get to that word and he couldn't think of what it meant, I'd be like a van, or Jean Claude, and he'd be like, ah, yes. So, however you memorize things, that's what it is. Some people are better at memorizing than others. I was actually having this discussion, well, not discussion, but conversation with a friend and my husband on Friday about learning stuff in different ways, and I'm just like, just give me what I have to memorize and I'll memorize it. Just easy peasy. Let's see, what else? We'll just read through what he says so I don't confuse any of these forms myself. It's hard when you learn them all at the same time. They should really maybe slow it down a bit, but here we go. The masculine neuter singulars of the indefinites, quis forms and quid forms, are mostly substantive. Qui and quod are adjectives. That makes sense. The qui, qui, quad, they give you all three genders, so they're working more like adjectives, where quis quid is only giving you one for masculine, feminine things, one for neuter things, so it's working more like a noun. Yeah, fair. The indefinites quis and qui never stand first in a clause and are rare, except for after si, nisi, num, and ne. Generally, aliquis and aliqui are used instead, so this is important here. So the aliquis, aliqui for some, any, after si, nisi, num, and ne, si, nisi, num, and ne, all the allies fall away, or the allies take a holiday. That's what I usually say. After si, nisi, num, and ne, the allies take a holiday. So you only have the quis, qui, qua, quod, quid part left, which is where you get this qui, qui, quad, meaning some or any. They say, and are rare, excepting after si, nisi, num, and ne. So si quis, if anyone, but if you just had aliquis, that'd be anyone. Si, nisi, num, and ne. All right, the forms qua and aliqua are both feminine nominative singular and neuter nominative plural. That's not so weird because that's what happens in adjectives all the time. All right, observe that qui dom is declined like qui, except in the singular and genitive plural, m becomes n. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Same as with edem, the same. The m before the d becomes an n. Quidam is the least indefinite of the indefinite pronouns. That makes sense because you're saying a certain something. And implies that you could name the person or thing referred to if you cared to do so, but you don't. It is the most passive aggressive, I guess, of the indefinite pronouns. Quisquam and quisque are declined like quis. Okay, quisquam is always used substantively and chiefly in negative sentences because if you want to say any, you can just say ulasa So the main takeaway is really memorize all the ways to decline quis quid and qui qui quad because that will get you through all the combinations. But I'm probably going to have to go back and forth for a little bit because it's been so long since I've had to deal with these keywords. Ooh, comparison and adjectives next week. Sweet. Next week we get some adjectives. Regular comparison and adjective. Regular comparative adjective. Wow, 4 types of irregular comparative adjectives. I guess that's what we'll do next week or next time, which will be next week because Tuesday I won't be streaming. I have a meeting, so 4 sections on adjectives. All right, but let's figure out how Horatius held the bridge. Oh, Mox ubi para pars pontis mansit, Horatius usit comites discedere, et solus mira constantia impetum idius totius exercitas sustinebat. Denique magno fragore pons in flumen decidit. Tum vero Horatius terram vertit, et armatus in aquis dissiluit. In eum hostes multitella iecerat. In columis autem per fluctus ad alteram ripam tranavit. Ei propter tantas res gestas populus Romanus non solum alia magna praemia dedit, sed etiam statuam Horati in loco publico posuit. All right. So soon, when the para pars, a small part of the bridge remained, Horatius ordered his companions to get out, depart, and he alone, with amazing fortitude, withheld the strike of that entire army, that whole army. Good job. And then at last, with a great crash, the bridge fell into the river. Then, in fact, Horatius turns his back and armed passed through the waters, leapt through. Against him, the enemies threw many weapons. However, unharmed, he swam through the river to the other shore. To him, on account of his so great things done, tantos res gestae, the Roman people gave not only other great prizes, but also put up a statue of Horatius in the public space. The end. Yeah, right? And managed to swim. So, yeah. That's really what the accomplishment was about. Being able to do that in armor. And statues like Horatius's really populated the forum in Rome. So just public statues everywhere of every politician ever. It was super crowded with statues and victory mementos and this, that, and the other. So crowded place to walk around. But that's it for today. Woo! We've done so many pronouns. Now continue to think about pronouns and we'll do some adjectives next time, and that'll be fun. Yeah. Have a good night or afternoon, whatever. I'm laughing. Yay, indeed. Yay, adjectives are great. Imagining him standing there like the heavy weapons guy holding off a rush single-handedly. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. Yeah, I guess it really also depends on like how wide the bridge was to begin. The story doesn't really indicate. Hopefully it wasn't too wide, but who knows? Anyway, comparison of adjectives next time. So what does that mean? That means what if something is better or best? that's how we do comparisons with adjectives. So, bye everybody.